I'd also like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the land where we meet today, and also to share that a Turrbal woman was recently part of our board. So we've had a very direct connection to this local country. And I live on Gadigal country and I work on Camaragal country, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging. Where was I going to start? So yesterday, Fiona Fraser spoke about the importance of citizen science and all hands to the wheel. And the State of the Environment report, which you saw Jodie just mention just now, said much the same thing. So we're sort of starting to hear this echo around. Virginia Young spoke about a coalition of the willing, which includes young people. And that's what I'm going to talk about. But Rachel Kavanagh also spoke about the importance of First Nations knowledge and Western science genuinely coming together. And we think this is very important in part of what we're doing. I'm pleased to say that Jane Goodall herself, were she here, would endorse all of what is being said. And young people are one of her reasons for hope. And if you want to learn more about what she thinks about that, then her book is available on our website at janegoodall.org.au. But if she were here, she would probably paraphrase a well-known proverb, and that is, we do not inherit the earth from our parents, we borrow it from our children. Only we're not borrowing it, we're stealing it. So this conference is about connectivity. And what I want to talk about today is how children and young people, and I think I saw a question earlier come up in one of the Q&As saying, where are the young people here today? And they need to be part of this conversation. And that's what we're doing at the Jane Goodall Institute Australia through our programs. And that's what I'm going to run through with you now. So just a really brief history for those of that don't know. It's all up there so you can read it. What I will draw attention to is 2003, the first Australian Roots and Shoots group that was established in Australia. And I'll explain what Roots and Shoots is in a minute for those that don't know. It was established in South Australia by an extraordinary guy called Campbell Wally with an Indigenous elder called Reg Dodd in South Australia. And it was all about sharing knowledge and about mutual respect between Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities. That was 20 years ago. And that is kind of a crucial piece because I think it talks to what's in the DNA at JGI, the Jane Goodall Institute, and the Roots and Shoots program around the world. So here's a really high-level summary of the work we do. Everyone's probably familiar that Jane started in chimps, so yes, we do Africa work, but that only represents about 10% of what we're doing here in Australia. So we're raising money to support chimp work in Africa. But it's the work on the right that I'm really going to be drawing your attention to today. As was mentioned in the intro, we've got a suite of curriculum-aligned programs for schools, and I will be coming to those shortly. So this is our vision. From early childhood to early adulthood, we want a suite of programs that are going to take young people on this journey to environmental practice and sustainability mindset. They're not all going to go out and become ecologists and botanists and scientists. Some of them are going to go into all sorts of different fields of endeavour. It doesn't matter. We need all hands to the wheel if we're going to solve these dual crises of climate and biodiversity. So that's what we want. We want to encourage these young people from an early stage. Excuse me while I just take a little sip. And that's an example of a young project of a young person in Queensland, started a beach cleanup through Roots and Shoots. And she actually won a mini grant, which is mentioned up there on that graph. Right, so this is a suite of the programs that we're currently offering through the Jane Goodall Institute Australia. I don't know if you can read it all. I'm going to come to the top three in more detail in a second, but The NYLC, don't you love an acronym? That's our National Youth Leadership Council. It's for 16 to 24-year-olds, usually a cohort of about 20 of them, drawn from all around the country. We put them through a 9-month module program. They learn about leadership. They learn about engaging with community. They learn about themselves. And the power of this program is all of them go on to amazing jobs in the community. So we've got NYLC graduates that have started their own business. We've got NYLC graduates that are in government, that are in NGOs. It's a really inspiring little cohort that we operate each year. And we've got teams at university, our state Roots and Shoots teams. So in every state and territory, I can now say this in Australia, because as of this week, we now have a volunteer. And these are volunteers, by the way. We have a volunteer in every state and territory guiding the Roots and Shoots program. Which is just super exciting. So if someone wants to sign up to Roots and Shoots, they connect with the volunteer coordinator and they take them on their journey. Global Pen Pals is connecting what we're doing here at Australia with what's happening around the world. So just to give you a sense of this, Roots and Shoots is in about 55 countries. So there are literally thousands of young people that are connecting through this program. And it's really exciting that they can do a kind of old-fashioned pen pal program, but actually they do get emailed, but they handwrite them, and they get to learn about cross-cultural learnings from all around the world, which is just fantastic. And a mini grants program, small micro grants, $250, $500. Some of you may have heard of Spencer Hitchens, who's doing the Saving the Glossy Back Cockatoo. He won one of our mini grants to help him drive his program forward. They're funded by philanthropists, which is just fantastic. These are our 3 sort of flagship programs. But before I come to that, just I'll just back up a little bit to explain what Roots and Shoots is about. For those Australians in the room, no, it's not a joke about wombats. For non-Australians, get them to explain what that means. Jane established Roots and Shoots, Jane Goodall established Roots and Shoots in Tanzania in 1991 when a few young people came to her and said, hey, we've seen some problems in our community. We want to find a solution. And she said, well, go and do it. You've got the power. So Roots and Shoots, as in terms of its guiding principle, is not about adults directing young people. It's about young people identifying the problems in their community. And when they sign up as a member of Roots and Shoots, they get a resource kit and they get to identify what's wrong in their community in terms of what needs attention. And look, the reality is that the bulk of our youth that we're dealing with are in urban areas, and a lot of our programs are focused on creating programs for urban-based kids because, why? We're now living in more medium and high density housing, right? So what's our access to green space? Very small. So how are we connecting kids to nature? Well, we're doing programs that create micro habitat and habitat in your backyard, on your balcony, wherever, doesn't matter. But let's get these kids engaged with nature from as young an age as possible. Because we know the academic literature tells us the more connected you are to country as a young kid, the more you want to care about and protect it as an adult. So that's why we come to that. So our 3 keystone programs. The Resource Box for Schools is now in its 3rd year. Fully philanthropically funded, we distribute 4,000 boxes, which have 4 hardback 160-page colour books to primary schools around Australia every year with online curriculum-aligned lesson plans. We're partnered with the University of Adelaide, who is doing research, really important research into the impact of nature-based programs on the welfare of young people. So we're really excited by that partnership. We're also partnered with AIM Mentoring, Jack Manning Bancroft's outfit, because when the kids come through our programs, we want them to go on to learn about Indigenous knowledge systems. So that partnership's a really important part of the resource box and the graduating process around where our programs sit within a kind of holistic mindset about how we're solving these problems. I should also mention that the latest iteration of the box includes the 2nd volume of Living Landscapes. We've been working with about 20 Indigenous groups around Australia to create content for these books and to get them out into the universe so that more and more people are learning about Indigenous knowledge, Indigenous culture, connection to country, and it's ingrained within the curriculum. So we're doing what we can to contribute to that. Rewild Your School. So this is a really exciting term-long program. The creator of this is sitting in the audience, Abby, over there. Some of you may have met Abby Mitchell in the networking sessions. The power of this is it's about schools, term-long program, schools creating connectivity, not just within the school, but beyond the school. So it really is sort of to teach kids about habitat structure. They choose a champion animal and they learn about what that animal relies upon. So from a very basic level. And when they do a tree planting on the school site, it's an opportunity to bring parents and community members and the teachers and the school community together to actually share in that experience. So suddenly they've got a sense of, okay, what does a conservation corridor mean? How does my school connect to the local park or the local forest or whatever it may happen to be? So brilliant work by Abby. And just to give you a sense of it, it's akin to a Masters of Environmental Management for a 10-year-old. So this is a great program and we really want to get the word out. So if you know teachers and educators that would love to swap out what they're doing in STEM, then this is for them. And the other brilliant thing about it is that you don't need to have any background in STEM. And we know that primary school teachers often are teaching STEM subjects, but they don't know much about, that's not their background. So we've made it super easy. Step by step, they can get right through it. And then finally, Embrace the Wild, because I've got 2 minutes, so I'll be super quick. Embrace the Wild is a program targeted at secondary school students, particularly in disadvantaged communities. It's a 100-page resource box with 27 environmental and sustainability projects, from something that you can do on your balcony if you live in an apartment to community-based programs. Once you've done that, you go on to do some training, and from there we're reaching out to organisations to offer these kids work experience in their organisations. So if you're an organisation here today that would love to have, you know, a kid that's really, you know, committed to wanting to make a difference in the world and help them build their networks, then come and talk to me, because we'd love to build a little relationship with you guys. And so that you can give those kids the start in their careers that they want. So I did have a video, but I'm out of time. So I just want to say thank you very much.